Hey guys, so you ever notice at work that there's a lot of documents laying around? There's a lot of forms that need to be filled out, and you got to turn them in to certain people by certain times on certain days. Well, guess what? When you start your own business, there's not going to be any forms. There's not going to be any documents. That's going to be a wonderful thing, right? Wrong. Your life is going to be very confusing, and you're not going to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, when you should do it again, if you did it the right way. And so if you create documents, well, then you can document everything. And by everything, I mean everything. So I want to go over an estimate form that I have in my business, and I want to break down how I've structured this form and how I use it and how that helps me clarify everything in my business so that I never make any mistakes ever. If I get an email from somebody and maybe they saw my van going down the road and they got my email address there, or maybe they were a referral from a friend and they got my email address, it doesn't matter how they find me, but if this person reaches out to me and they want an estimate, I need to go to that estimate and I need to make sure that I get the right information from them, right? Because if I get bad information or I forget something, it's going to make working with that person a lot harder. I've got this document. I call it the estimate form. I just made that name up because, well, that's what it is. But up at the top here, you see, it says business name. So we write out the business name, and then I can write the date of the estimate over here. Down here, I have the contact name. That's the person that I'm meeting with and that I have my appointment with. I can write their first and last name. That way I don't forget. That way if I need to find them again, I can track them down. I don't just have to call their office and be like, I came in and did an estimate for janitorial stuff and I met with somebody. I don't remember who it was. Could you transfer me? Sounds unprofessional. So I just ask them in the meeting, hey, what's your name? And then I write it down. First name, last name. Then right there, I write down their email address. And sometimes I don't just write this out in front of them. Sometimes I'll just grab a business card and then I'll write this stuff down later as needed. But if I can't get their business card, I will sit there and ask them all this stuff. Next, we have the address. That's going to be important because I'm going to need to know where this job is once it's on the calendar and we need to make our way back to that place. So underneath that, I have all the different services that I can offer. Floor care, what does that say? Restrooms, carpet cleaning, high dusting, windows, janitorial, pressure washing, and other. Now these are reminders. So when I'm in my meeting, I can just go through there. Like if they ask me to come out for floor care, I can look at their hard floors, but then I can actually ask them, well, do you have any carpets that need to be cleaned? Are there any windows that need to be cleaned? Maybe we can take a look at pressure washing. And so those are just little cues for me so that I know what to talk about in the estimate. That way I can make sure that I get all of their needs met and I can deliver on exactly what that facility needs. Now, this does two things. One, it builds value because they can go through one vendor to get all their needs met. But two, for me, I can make as much money as possible on each transaction. Because if they called me in for a $1,000 floor job and then I find out they got $500 worth of carpet cleaning, well, I just bump that sales up by 50%. And so I have that documented on this sheet. One, so I know what to ask about, but also so that I know what to put on the calendar at a later date when I'm coming back. So I document in the meeting, say they only need floor care. Well, I check that off. Then when I put this on my calendar, I can put down floor care as the service. That way I know before I go to do the job, I know what I'm getting myself into and I can make sure that I pack my van accordingly. Next, we're going to have floor types. I can write down if it's VCT, if it's concrete, if it's carpet, whatever it is. That way I know what chemicals that I need to bring. I could put the start date right here. So that tells me the day that's best for them. Next to that, I put the time. So in the meeting, I figure out what day do you want me to come back? What time do you want me to come back? I answer these questions right in the meeting. That way it's locked down. Because sometimes you can go do an estimate and it's like, yeah, I'll email the estimate, later when I get back to my office. And then you never have a date, you never have a time. So then the job never gets scheduled. Sometimes things just fall through the cracks. Something else pops up. But if you're in the meeting and you're like, here's the date, here's the time, does that work? You're like, okay, cool. So it's just an easier way to get the job scheduled. But also, I can track when I told them. Because if I'm in the meeting and I just blurt out something, but then I've got like 4 meetings, I might forget what day and what time I'm supposed to do any particular job. So I write that down in the meeting and capture it. Then I can write down what products I'm going to use. I'll write down, what type of floor finish, what type of stripper, just any product that I need. That way I know to check that in inventory and make sure that I have it. Under here, I've got all these different sections blocked off, and that's for my measurements. So I could walk around the building and I can measure each room, and I got plenty of room to take notes. So I know exactly what size every single room is. At the bottom, I can track how many square feet. So now I know the total square feet per job. And then I got an area right there for additional comments. So if there's any notes, if there's like an alarm system I need to write down the code, or there's like a secret gate with a key hiding underneath a rock, I know where to find that. And I write that down in the additional comments. Then I can have the customer sign off. They go ahead and they sign this. They're agreeing to that date and that time. They're agreeing to the type of job that we're going to be doing. They're agreeing to the amount of measurements. And so they could just sign that. Under here on the bottom, I've got the total cost. I'll write down the cost of the job. And then I'll ask them, can you pay me on delivery? And they're either going to say yes or no, and then I'll circle it. And then they can initial that right there. So that way there's no confusion. They're going to pay me on delivery because they signed it. And if they can't do it, no big deal. I don't have to hold them to that. I'm happy to negotiate and work with people on their different circumstances. But at least I can bring it up in the conversation so that we are both clear on it. And I'm not being an asshole like, hey, when are you going to pay me? It's like, no, it's on the paper. So I got to ask, when's that going to be? So it's the paper prompting me. So it's not awkward if I do that. Email an estimate. I can tell them the price because I type up this paper on the spot. But maybe they can't get the final approval. Maybe they're not the owner or the manager or whatever, and it's not going to be up to them. So I can ask, do you need an emailed copy of the estimate? And if they do, then I just circle the yes. Then I can write over here on the other side, email a receipt or an invoice. And I can circle that as needed. Then we have our 24-hour notice required for all cancellations and reschedules. A $250 cancellation fee may apply for same-day cancellations or no-shows. Now, some of these jobs are thousands of dollars. And if I block out an entire day, I'm missing out on thousands of dollars on revenue from anyone else I could possibly be working with. So if someone doesn't show up, it really screws me over. So I've got this $250 cancellation fee. I don't always charge every single person that, but they need to acknowledge that that's the penalty if they don't show up. And then I have them sign down here, right there, and then they date it. And that's documented. So now I got this piece of paper. What do I do with it? Well, normally I would just take this right into the office manager, who happens to be my wife. So at the end of the day, I pull out all my estimates and I hand them over to her. Now, she has all of the information that she needs to do her job. So she can open up a new event on Google Calendars. That way I can see it on my phone and she can see it on her phone and her laptop. That way we have the same schedule. And we can have a service schedule and an estimate schedule, like a sales schedule. And so once she gets this estimates form, now she can schedule the job. So she has the business name. She could put that right on the calendar. She's got the contact name. She'll put that in the calendar notes so that I know when I go back who I'm talking to. She'll put the phone number in there so that when I show up on the job, I can actually call that person. Then is going to be the address, so I know how to find this place. Also on the calendar, it's going to remind me what type of job I'm doing. Am I doing a floor job, carpet job, whatever? What type of the floor type it is. That way, all I have to do is open up my Google Calendar the week that job's scheduled, and I can see all my jobs scheduled for that week, and I know what supplies I need to get, the route that I need to take throughout my day, and I can just plan and structure my week so that I can get these jobs done in a timely manner and maintain quality. So I go out and I do the job. As I'm doing the job, my wife sees on the calendar that time has passed, and then when I get home from doing the jobs. Like at the end of the day, she knows all the jobs I went out to do. So now she can go back to the calendar and we can review all the information together. Did the job turn out well? Are we going to bill them the full amount? Do we need to go back and do any rework? Are there any problems? Usually everything goes perfect. Usually we're not going to adjust the price at all. So now she has all the information she needs to send them a bill. So she can type it up on QuickBooks and send over an estimate or send over the invoice. Or she can type it up on Square and send them a digital invoice so that they can log on to the website and give us their credit card information, and we can bill them right there on the spot through the internet. After that, we can go ahead and schedule a follow-up visit. So then we can put that on the calendar for, 3 months out, 6 months out, a year out. That way I know who to contact way down the road. A whole year later, I know that, hey, this floor got cleaned a year ago. It's probably dirty now. I should follow up with them. This does a couple of things. It's going to help me maintain quality with my customers. I'm checking back in on them so their floors never get crazy dirty. But also, I don't have to go out and find a whole new customer anymore. When I call this person, I'm like, hey, it's been a year. You're due for your service. When's a good time to schedule that? They're just going to do it. If they got it approved the first time, it's probably going to be on their radar. They just need to do it again, especially if I let them know, hey, I'm going to contact you in a year. So just prepare for that. They're going to already have it planned and ready to go. And then I just make a simple phone call. Deal's done. No more cold calling, no more marketing, no nothing. That fosters a relationship that can last many, many years. So anyway, this is one form that I created. This thing did not exist. I literally put every letter on this. It was my idea to come up with that black line right there. It was all in my head. I'm very proud of it. But no, this thing, this is one form and one process that solves a lot of problems. It helps the person doing the estimate capture all the information. Helps the person delivering the service have all the information so that they can bring the right tools and do the right job for the customer. It helps us so that we don't have any cancellations and there can be a penalty of $250 if there is a cancellation. It helps the office manager track the jobs, making sure that they get done on time and that they're satisfactory. And then it's going to help us put them in the system so that we can contact them again. So we use different forms and different processes in all the different areas of our business. But this is one example of how you can force structure onto something that there was no structure before, right? Normally, like if I didn't have the sheet, I would just be walking into a meeting. I don't know what questions to ask. I would try and remember how I did it last time, and I'd try and draw on all the knowledge that I have from my experience in the past. And hopefully the customer can just ask me the right questions and that it applies to them. But if I can create structure by making a form that I just go through, I'm just checking all the boxes and I know I'm getting all the information. And then if there's anything additional, well, then we can go from there. But at least I got all the bases covered initially. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here because I got to get back to work. I'm trying to build up my subscriber base. And most of my videos are watched by people who are not subscribed. Probably close to 80% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. It helps me reach my goal. Hopefully by showing you these types of things, I can help you reach some goals that you have. So if you want to do what you want, when you want, how you want, for who you want, and how much you want, subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you guys next time.